So when it comes to the weirdest video game that I have ever played, and I've played a few, I feel like a lot of them are necessary because you have to be different and weird nowadays in order to do well. When you look at the likes of I Am Bread and Goat Simulator, yeah, they're weird. They are weird games. But it's necessary because they're different. It's what draws people to them. But I'm going to go way, way back to a Sega Genesis game, which, thinking about it now, I don't understand why it was necessary. Like, it's one of those games that doesn't need to be necessary because it's a game about a physical person, and that person is Michael Jackson. I'm, of course, talking about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker game on the Sega Genesis. And yeah, that's right. That is a game that exists, but why? You know, when you think about I Am Bread and Goat Simulator, you think, well, you're playing as bread and you've got to become toast. Makes sense. Oh, I'm just a crazy, evil goat causing mayhem. It's fun, it makes sense. But playing as Michael Jackson, as himself, in basically a video game version of the movie version of the song, where you have to save children who have been captured by bad guys, and the way that you defeat them is with your mad dance skills. I just don't really understand why it needed to be a thing. Why is it a thing? And I remember playing it as a kid and enjoying it because it has a really good soundtrack, because it's Michael Jackson music. Of course, it's going to have a great soundtrack. And I loved Michael Jackson as a kid. So I'm dancing away myself while I'm playing as Michael Jackson, dancing away and defeating these thugs. But thinking about to it now, it just makes no sense as a video game. It's just like turning, having Bruce Willis the video game, but he's not playing a character. He's just playing himself on his daily routine, going to work, and he has to, spew out one-liners to kill his enemies. It just makes no sense to me. But the best part about the game is the fact that there is a special move that Michael Jackson can do, which makes all of the enemies do a little dance sequence in unison, and that's how you defeat them. It's just totally bizarre, and I don't understand why it exists, but it does. And there you are. That's the thing that exists. So, yeah.
So the weirdest game I've ever played probably isn't the weirdest game I've ever played, but it's the one that I can remember playing, because all the other ones have probably been repressed into a deep, dark corner, into the recesses of my mind. But Mojo! A game that released in 2003 for the original Xbox, where you play as a marble in space, and that's it. It's just a puzzle game where you're in space and you're a ball and you have to hit blocks. And that might seem very mundane to a lot of you, because it is just basically Super Monkey Ball without the monkey, and you would potentially argue that having a monkey trapped in a ball to do ball stuff is potentially a lot weirder than being a space ball that is destroying blocks, but you'd be wrong, because I just didn't understand this game when I was younger. I loved marbles IRL, great time. Marbles in space, not a great time. I just fell off the map all the time and had a really annoying soundtrack. I remember being particularly bothered by the soundtrack when I was 7 years old, and it just didn't agree with me, that game. One of the weirdest games I've ever played is a marble game that's probably one of the most common genres ever, but it just didn't resonate. It didn't resonate with me in the same way that I imagine the monkey in the ball would. Although I've never played some Super Monkey Ball either. But yeah, Mojo! Marble games are weird, that is my take. And especially, you can make them even more weird, even weirder if you put them in space and don't explain why you're attacking these blocks. Do I need a narrative justification to attack blocks as a marble?
I don't usually like repeating answers on these Chatty Faces episodes, but when you ask me a question, like what is the weirdest video game you've ever played, I can't not say Playboy the Mansion, the video game, which I have talked about before, but cannot stress enough just how odd and weird and how much of a strange time I had playing this while playing it with 2 other people one night because we went downtown back when you could go downtown properly, and we bought a bunch of different PlayStation 2 video games, and we thought, this looks good, let's buy this for 50 pence, see how bad it was. And then I actually kind of got into it, which is the problem. Essentially, it's kind of like The Sims for perverts, but you're in a big house, you're in Playboy the mansion, you're in the mansion, you're in Mr. Playboy's mansion, and you're essentially trying to run the magazine, the Playboy magazine, the titular Playboy magazine, whilst having like these parties and stuff, and you do photo shoots, but there's no nudity in it, and you have to like position your magazine covers, and I got far too into the systems. Only ever played it for that one night because I thought this might, I'm going down a dark path here, and I might never be able to dig myself out of it, especially in front of 2 people I really respect. So yeah, I threw that in the bin somewhere, but that's still probably the weirdest game that I've played, alongside maybe Abe's Odyssey. Like, that's not necessarily on the surface completely strange, not in the same way that Playboy the Mansion the game is, but there's a fart button in it, and I think any game that has a fart button, like, you're doing something strange, and I massively, massively respect it. One that I'm looking forward to, just to wrap this up, is Tales from Off-Peak City. I think this came out like earlier this year. This looks absolutely crazy. Like, if you've not seen the trailer for it, go and seek it out. I would have played it, but my computer can barely run Gone Home without breaking, so that's kind of out the question unless there's a certain adaptation in the works for consoles. But yeah, check that out. Don't play Playboy the Mansion. Do play Abe's Odyssey. I'm out.
I'll take this as any excuse to talk more about Hideo Kojima, because if we're going down the weird route, it's going to be Metal Gear. And if we're going to go down, you know, what's the peak of ridiculous, the absolute asinine peak, it's Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, I absolutely love Guns of the Patriots. I love Metal Gear, I love Mr. Kojima. But MGS4 is mad. MGS4 is absolutely ridiculous. From the small monkey that wears a diaper that hangs out with Drebin, the gun smuggler, the monkey just drinks Coke cans. The monkey just drinks Coke cans and smokes, and he's called Little Grey. There's a guy that has an exclamation mark shaved into the back of his head. There's Raiden coming back as a cyborg ninja and fighting a bunch of robots that make mooing noises. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I haven't really thought about MGS4 seriously in quite a while. It's just stupid and ridiculous. The worst thing, though, is the fact that all the bosses are called the Beauty and the Beast unit, which are all amalgams of previous bosses in the saga that have been mushed together. Not literally, they haven't, those characters aren't returning, but you'll get a character called like Laughing Octopus or something, which, or I don't know, some raven thing. And the explanation for that is that they're all, and this is in real life, Kojima went out and sought out a bunch of different supermodels, real life supermodels, magazine models kind of thing, brought them all in, and all of the explanation for them in the game is that all these people, they were kids, they were either like war orphans or they were abused when they were kids, and they grew up to be like half mech demonic things, with like, an octopus for a head, or one of them just became a wolf, or whatever. And you get told all of these backstories by Drebin and his little monkey, more so by Drebin. And it's just that idea that he got a bunch of supermodels, and it was all part of the marketing, and he just put them in different mech suits. And we, for the most part, we're okay with it. You think about how far we've come as a progressive society across the 2010s, across the late 2010s, and you compare to where the hell we were back in 2008 or 6 or whenever that game came out. Sweet Lord, the absolute insanity of that game. If you're doubting how ridiculous it is, just look up any scene from it. It's even the bit when Raiden holds back like a whole tanker. There's like a tanker that has like Mount Rushmore on it. And Ocelot's just running through the scene. Ocelot, as Giant Bomb pointed out at the time, Rover Ocelot might as well have just had been twizzling his mustache, and just went like ah-cha-cha-cha, and then ran away. And there's the whole scene, I know this is almost 3 minutes long. There's the whole bit where Ocelot gains control of the AI thing that governs the whole world, and he just shoots stuff with finger guns. He just points at things and goes bang, and then things just fall off the sky. Good.